Welcome back to Gig Harbor Paddling. Today we're doing practice with a paddler. Today we're going to be following Gannon Erickson. He's one of our junior male kayakers on the team, and we, on a typical day at practice, we arrive 10-15 minutes before practice. On the dot when we start, us coaches usually have them go out and do some sort of cardio to get their blood flowing for warm-up. They come back and we typically have a standardized stretching from the ground up, just getting all their joints ready to go. After that, we like to talk to them about current events coming up, any updates to things, races. Specifically though, we always address the workout, what the workout is gonna be, what we expect of them, the different speed groups if so, the coaches that they're gonna meet if we have assigned groups, and where they're gonna meet them. We go through the workout and the practice, which you're about to see, and then afterwards we get them to do a cool down when necessary, in most cases always. We like to stretch after, and then each group, so men canoe, men kayak, women canoe, and women kayak have their own days where they clean up, and they're the ones that make sure all the boats are put away properly, all the washing things are done, the floors are wiped up, and everything's locked up, and that's a practice for you.
You have to do 10 sprints of at least 40 seconds length at maximum attempted speed. Normally a 12K fartlek would be comprised of 12 kilometers with at least 8 sprints of at least 30 seconds of length. But as competition season, mainly nationals, approaches, we here at Gig Harbor are ramping it up. So at the beginning, Noah started his watch because we are going to measure out our 12 kilometers using a GPS watch, and instead of having to rely on any landmarks or arbitrary like distance markings we may have made, we're going to be using his watch. That's going to give us pretty accurate one-to-one geographical and topographical reference to do a 12K on. Noah and I are doing the workout together because we both perform at about the same capacity. So when it comes to these long and wonderfully grueling workouts, we can stay on each other's tails about maintaining the speed we need to keep in order to do the workout within an allotted amount of time. Our pace for this workout is 440.
It will go down though.
Which will go,
or it'll go
up as we inevitably tire and lose our energy. But if we start out extra strong, then we might look out and make our average split time 440. My favorite event's the 200 meter because I get to go super fast, and because I go super fast, I don't have to leave any energy on the table for later. So it's 40 seconds of pure adrenaline, and whoever can give themselves over completely to their desire to win, that's the person who's going to be on the podium with gold. My least favorite event is the 500 meter race because it's too short to be long distance, and it's too long to be an all-out sprint, and my kayaker brain doesn't know how to comprehend anything that doesn't exist in a black or white vacuum. That middle ground doesn't compute to me. Noah and I get to practice together pretty often. We join paddling at the same time. And we've been inseparable ever since. The cool thing about having a rudder in your boat is you don't have to stop to turn because of how rudders work. So the more forward momentum you put against the rudder, the faster you're gonna turn, because it's like creating lift. So the rudder's having pressure applied on both sides of it as you bring it forward in the water, which is all that friction is making the rudder constantly forced to realign itself. And since we're holding the rudder in place, all that force is transferred to the boat, and so our shell is turned instead. But it's not a shell like a rowing shell.
It's way better.
It is way better. It's a kayak shell. And sprint kayaking is basically kayaking, except instead of only using your arms in a plastic bathtub, you're in a sleek carbon fiber, essentially needle, and you're using
body.
a carbon fiber paddle and carbon fiber shaft to leverage the full force of your body moving in one fluid motion to almost twist and rotate yourself past your paddle's point of entry in the water. I've been blessed enough to live in an area where this is a pretty prevalent sport with ample opportunity for training and improvement. So I've been paddling for 5 years. I've been lucky enough to attend 2 national championships for the GHCKRT team, both of which we won. I podiumed at those nationals. I've got some medals. I've competed semi-internationally against Canadians, both in the US and in BC. This past April, I was part of a group of US athletes that competed against one another for the opportunity to compete at the Junior World Sprint Canoe Championship in Auronzo, Italy, and I qualified to race for Team USA as one of the paddlers in our 4-man kayak. 4-man kayak, yeah. I'm pretty excited for that, and while nationals is important, my performance in Italy is the forefront of my thoughts at the moment, and that's where all of my training focus is going. All of my technical focus right now is on connection and just solid technique. The cool thing about our team is, we paddle in a Gig Harbor, which is a harbor inlet off the Puget Sound in Washington, and it's, as harbors usually are, salt water. So our boats perform pretty differently when we travel for races, because most other races are on freshwater courses, and saltwater is
more dense.
saltwater is more buoyant. Oh,
Yeah.
there's a seal. Saltwater is more buoyant, so our boats float higher on the surface than they would in freshwater, which creates a proportionally higher center of gravity for us. So we have to be more balanced. And since we train in these conditions all the time, whenever we compete in freshwater, our boats, as they would, now have a lower center of gravity since they seem deeper in the freshwater. And we don't have to put as much focus towards our balance. So we get to put everything into our technique and speed and power. And it's such a long workout like this where we're out on the water for an extended period of time. A lot of times I have to be mindful of where my head is at because I don't want to get distracted and lose sight of my goals just because I was too busy staring at the pretty water. So there's also a lot of mental fortitude that comes with, well, we have coaches out in the water with us and we have supervision, but for me in group 1, which is the highest group and is usually known generally because it's where our athletes train when they have international aspirations. A lot of times we're out here working on workouts with nothing but the watch to guide us. So there's a lot of willpower and mental fortitude here about keeping our performance in line with what we want it to be and not goofing around or dilly-dallying and not wasting time. Our coach Alan likes to say that on race day, how we perform is directly tied to how we practice. And it's not really a practice makes perfect motif, but a perfect practice makes perfect motif. And there are 2 disciplines. There's kayaking with a double-bladed paddle, 1 blade on each side, and there's canoeing where you're kneeling and you have a single blade attached to one end of your paddle shaft. I am a kayaker. I find kayaking to be more palatable. It's a lot easier at the beginning stages of paddling. It's more forgiving, but you get a greater power yield than you do in a canoe. So we can go faster with less effort than canoes can. Kayaking is just a more efficient body movement. We don't race each other. The kayaking discipline is separate from the canoe discipline. For the winter, we do a strength circuit where we get as big and beefy as we can. But right now, we're in our strength circuit. So all of our focus,
We're on a muscular endurance circuit.
oh right, we're on our muscular endurance circuit where all of our focus is going to making sure that our muscles are conditioned to performing at race caliber and that we're not slacking off or going easy on ourselves. Also during the summer, we start doing multiple practices a day with gym and morning practices. And for group 1, morning practices are available all year round, but not everyone's school schedule or just kind of like life happenings really match up with that availability. So once summertime comes along, everyone kind of doesn't have any academic pursuits getting in the way of their participation, and we start to all do morning practices together and focusing on a lot of time trials and making sure we're performing at the caliber we want to be performing at.
All right, Gannon, how'd it go out there?
It's pretty awesome.
Thanks for doing that. I know it's still a little bit hard on the breathing when you're working out hard and you're also trying to talk, but we really appreciate that, and I bet everyone's gonna love it. So next up, we have to figure out who's gonna do the next paddling video. We have a randomizer right here. I'd like you to go ahead and press the button to see who's next.
Yes, ma'am.
Number 26. Looks like it's gonna be Connor Kitching.
Oh, that's
Very
a great
nice.
pick.
Yeah, all right,
Love
thanks,
Connor.
Gannon.
Oh no!
What?
Doc up, grab the mic.